The e-commerce landscape has changed massively. I think since 2014. I think that in 2014, I think there were a lot of sort of bricks and mortar type brands that were still just dubious about it and thinking they're not going to buy that. They won't buy that online. Like we've got a jewelry client that sells like earrings and they're like 40 grand, and they were like, no one will ever buy that. They had an order last year for, I think it was like 86 grand, like just pure online, like nothing, no personal touch or anything. That was an eye opener to me as well at the luxury side of things. Cause I was like, I wouldn't have expected that people would buy those things without going into the shop, having the like the silver service sort of thing, but they do. And I think since 2014, I think because people were still dubious about it, people weren't actually diving in with both feet. I think they were very much kind of like, well, we might do a web shop, but we won't do any marketing behind it. But actually now they realize that it's its own business. You've got a lot of brands that we deal with where they've got the bricks and mortar stores, they're one business unit, and the other business unit is their e-commerce store. And it does the same as multiple branches, which is crazy, but they know that they have to invest in it. But I think that's probably one of the drawbacks in how the e-commerce world has evolved, is that I think back to when we were buying ads and stuff like that on Google for shopping phrases in 2014, it was so cheap. And I wish like I had a magic wand to go back in time and say to my clients, like, just fill your boots, like literally have an unlimited budget. If you're operating at a multiplier of revenue and you're getting loads more out of it than what you put in, just go for it, because you cut forwards today and it is brutal out there. It's costing so much to acquire customers. It's so difficult to actually get your ads found for things that are specific to what you're trying to sell. I think especially with things like performance max coming in, it's a black box. You don't know what it's advertising. It's really hard to get that information. And I think you're having things where you might have, say, a stereo or something like that that's being advertised for bathroom furniture, and it makes no sense and you can't control it. And I think that's the big change, is that you've got all these things coming around. AI is obviously coming massively, which is great in some ways, but in other ways, you've got people that are just execs that are literally just banging things straight into ChatGPT, no thought behind it, doing whatever they think that it's suggesting that they do and going, yeah, that should work, happy days. You're not actually applying thought to that. And I think that's the bit that's challenging, is that you have all these sort of, it's like magpies chasing shiny objects. You have a lot of entrepreneurs that are going, do you know what, AI's come out, ChatGPT can write my whole ads for me, I'm going to just let it do that. There's no sort of like discernibility in it. It's just kind of, yeah, we'll go with that, hope that it works. If it does, brilliant. If it doesn't, we'll have to review it, and then I'll put it back into ChatGPT and let's hope. And I think that's the real headwind, actually. I think AI has accelerated a lot of things, but I think it's also meant that brands are spending more and more and more, getting a lower ROAS, not actually getting the money back that they spend on ads like they did in, say, 2023, but just expecting things to stay the same. And they're also not seeing that maybe 2023, 2022, it was a lot cheaper back then to buy the traffic. And actually that price has increased. It's all an auction system, but they'll keep the same budget and they'll expand product range. And there's like little like sort of decisions along the way like that get made. And it makes our job harder. But that's our job to step in and go, do you know what? You've expanded your product range by 50%, but your budget's exactly the same. Like, what are you expecting us to do there? So yeah, I think those are the main things that have changed really. It's just obviously everyone's going to say the AI thing, but I think the cost of traffic is a big one for me. I think you've got to be very strategic now and work out exactly what niche you're satisfying. Like we've done, to be fair, we could in 2014 operate and just say we do web design and we do it for everybody. I don't really think that works now for the type of clients that we want. I think you've got to be very specific. We specialize in luxury, we specialize in B2B. You have to have specialisms. And I think that's the same for e-com brands, where if you're selling products, especially like vast range of them, you need to be thinking, what are these products actually doing for the customer? How can we get those in front of those customers that maybe aren't searching for the brand and model number, because everybody's going for that. So it's just been a bit smarter with it, really. There's been a lot of positives in the shift after COVID for e-commerce. And I think that there's a lot more trust by default, I'd say. So I think you could see a brand say, I'm bad for it. I'll see something on like Instagram and I'll see like a pair of jeans I like, something like that. I've never heard of the brand. Before I know it, I'm buying them, and I'm like, and then I'm waiting for 4 weeks because they're coming from Germany or somewhere. So I think everyone sort of trusts a lot more, which is more positive for the e-commerce retailer, because you don't have to do as much work as you used to. However, that's still a gap that they can exploit to go, do you know what? Actually, we should make sure that they really trust us. They know our brand. There's a big advantage to be had there. But I think in terms of people just in general, I think they are less willing to go into shops. But I don't know if it's just me or if it's like worldwide, but I'm more sort of, it's bad of me to say it because obviously I'm selling e-commerce services, but I like going into shops again now. I like trying stuff on. I like doing that. And I think that's like a really clear niche that, especially for fashion, I think if they can get it right with basically, which ASOS do really well, is sending stuff out. Returns are super easy. You can drop them off at a locker. You don't have the risk. So you know that they'll refund you. You'll get the money back. I think that's what they all need to do. But I think there's still a lot of more mature brands, especially, are bad for it, where they're just putting roadblocks in their own way, where they're saying, right, you've only got 14 days to return, or you might have to pay for the return. You've got to pay for the package. Actually, you should just be building that into your whole business cost, because all you're doing is you're just opening the door for ASOS. Like, I think it was Jeff Bezos at Amazon. Like, his quote was, "Your margin's my opportunity." And he's obviously absolutely cutthroat and brutal. But I do think that is a true thing. I think that anyone who's an online only retailer is thinking, do you know what? I'm happy to make 10% margin on that product. You're making 40% because you've got the stores. But actually, I don't mind doing the 10%, and I'll do free returns. I'll do all these things. So to the customer, they don't care who you are. They don't really care that you've got a shop on Bond Street or anything like that. They just want to know that they can get the product sent out to them, because they might be in Manchester, they might be in Nottingham, and they want to know that they can return it if they need to, if they don't like it. And I think once you get that feeling, that's really good. And I think that's why I like going into like town to do shopping and stuff like that, because I can go in and try stuff on, where some of the retailers that I do shop from might not be that sort of enabling for that. So yeah, I think those are the biggest changes that have come about since COVID.